So, I bet you thought we were never going to get to marketing ever. We're here. Do you see what happened here? I left marketing till the very second last video. There's a reason for that. If you look at what all of the master classes teach you, marketing is everything. Marketing is the end-all be-all. But is it? I'm going to tell you that I think marketing plays a role. And it is definitely one aspect of your business. It's something that we all need to do. But how does an artist market and still feel genuine and real and authentic? You've already got the whole entire foundation. All of the classes that preceded this give you all of the talking points you will ever need. It educates you on where to be doing your marketing and how. Think about it for a minute. We're an artist. We put our artwork out there, and in doing so, we put ourselves out there. And that means just about every damn thing we do is marketing. See, we're not really given the chance to be off all that often. Pretty much, we're always on the job. So marketing means something different to artists than it does to regular businesses. I mean, yes, we still have a product and it still requires marketing. But we don't really call artwork a product, we call it art. But it's a product. It's what we make and then what we in turn hope to sell. That makes it a product. That means marketing is required. Here's how you go about doing that. You get out into the world. You have conversations. You talk to people. Now we're talking about the first part, that 25% of the time is marketing and half of that will be in the real world and half of it will be in the online world. That real world, every opportunity you go anywhere is an opportunity you could show people your work, talk to people about your work, or demonstrate. It is that simple. You don't have to start with pushing that on them. I would never want anybody to feel like I have pushed my artwork on them. In fact, if anything, I make it a little bit difficult, and I don't mean to, but I'm very clear with myself. I will not be a pushy salesperson-y artist. It's just not me. On the other hand, I will willingly share whenever people ask, and I will willingly show whenever people ask. And if it comes up naturally in a topic of discussion, like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I make art. It's not like I'm going to run for the hills and hide or say something like, well, I work in an office, because I don't. But naturally, these things come up all the time. And that's one really great way to be marketing yourself. It's actually not marketing for an artist, it's sharing. And that's something that's really critical to understand. There's that word again, critical. It tells you this is important. The bottom line is that when we share of ourselves, we allow viewers to get to know us, and when they get to know us, they have the ability to connect with our artwork in a different kind of way. And that's what happens. That's what they do. Now, who you're marketing to, that could be a problem. I'll say this over and over. Joining art organizations is an important part of your career, but we're not covering it in any of these foundational courses or concepts, because the reality is that is a little bit more advanced of a topic, and it's all artists. You're going to gather a group of people to follow you that are other artists. It just doesn't work. And so going out into the world and marketing or sharing of yourself does not necessarily mean to other artists. Our role there is completely different. When you are out in the world, anytime you are doing anything, you can absolutely talk about your artwork. And now you have all the ability in the world to do it. You understand it better, you have the confidence to do it, and it's exactly what you should be doing. I'll give you another opportunity of marketing. Going out into a park and making art. You would be amazed at how many people will open up the discussion with you because they see you doing it. Be open, be friendly. Maybe this isn't your serious art making time, but you're spending time in nature, and you could have valuable conversations with people who tend to like it, or the kids who want to see what the technique is. That is spreading art, and that is a beautiful thing. It's also a part of what marketing is. I mean, we hear marketing and we hear a business term. but it's really not for an artist. It's sharing of yourself. You can do that in the real world any day of the week. You can also do that online, and it's exactly what you should be doing online. In fact, I would argue, if you meet me in person, I'm exactly the same as I appear in video or as I appear on any of the social medias. My phrasing is the same, my terminology is the same, my personality is the same, and it's because I'm one person. So when I go online, again, I just share things, and I am strategic about how I share it in the sense that I don't want it overtaking my time. I'm strategic in the sense that I allocate a certain amount to it. I am also careful about what I'm willing and unwilling to share. I have a guideline that I follow. There's always a story, and the story can stand on its own without those things being left out. You know, there's always more to the story. That's been how I have lived my marketing or social media or interacting life. There are some things that are for me or for my inner circle of friends or for my family, but they're not meant for the whole world. That's the more of the story, and I just simply don't share that. And it hasn't harmed me in any way except that it has actually benefited my relationship with those people because they know that I respect their privacy and I respect their boundaries. I'll give you a really good example. You will almost never see me talk about my mother online in any way, shape, or form. And you'll rarely hear me talk about her in person. My mother is a very private person, and I have a great respect for that. I have a lot of funny art stories I could share, but I know the boundaries, and so I don't break them. This is what marketing is really all about. Let's go back to the concept that you are the entertainer. Think about other traditional entertainers where you know they kind of lose some of that privacy. But what privacy you lose as an artist is really up to you. I mean, think about it. You've already bared your soul in your artwork. How much more can you really not say? And I think you'll challenge yourself over time and realize maybe you did say something you didn't want to, and you'll know for next time you have found a boundary. That's really what marketing comes down to, is what are your boundaries? What are you willing to commit to, and where is the best place for you to spend that time? Anything you do with marketing, you should take a look at it and say, well, is this of value to me? And if over time it hasn't been, then consider maybe altering the way you approach it, or just simply not doing a specific social media site, or investing time in a group. You have all the power to make those decisions. I think through the course of all of these concepts, I keep telling you, you have the power. You're the artist, you're the creative. Figure some of this out. Apply your art skills to your business skills and get creative about it. I mean, maybe for you, marketing is planning a monthly pop-up show, and that's all you're willing to do. More power to you. Now, a couple of tips of advice. I view social media as a bank. You're paying yourself for the future. But if you never invest the time in that bank or the energy in that bank, it will never pay off. And absolutely, it has benefits. I ended up doing a pop-up show in New Orleans because of social media. I also have entered different juried shows and done very well based on things I found on social media. Wait, I thought we were just promoting ourselves. Well, see, here's the thing. Social media is a two-way street. I follow things of interest to me. I take part in things of interest to me. I have conversations with people, companies, and places that interest me. And when you do that, some pretty amazing and surprising things happen. I mean, I never would have thought that it would be that easy to do a pop-up event in New Orleans with a few other artists. It was wonderful. And it was one of the best events I've done. Granted, they have a pretty good market down there and environment, and well, it's NOLA. You just can't knock that. At that time, I was also very fortunate that I had friends that I had met in other ways online who came down to New Orleans to see me. And this is how you have built relationships over time based on things that interest you that end up accumulating in these magical moments. What you need to do is know the boundaries and take part. I will never tell you, go follow everybody you can so that maybe they'll follow you. And that's a broken trend anyway. Now it's all about different sorts of value. I'll give you another piece of advice. Right now, today, video is the hottest thing you can do. It will boost your social media interactions huge. I was not very comfortable with that, and sometimes I'm still not. Sometimes when I'm making art and videoing it, I'm like, oh, anybody could hit pause here and I'm going to have a horrible body posture. Hell, even you guys could hit pause at any time, and I recognize that you will land on a horrific facial expression. That's just me. It's what happens. On camera, that's what happens. You have to get used to that and normalize it for yourself and just not give a shit. Don't give a fuck. Not a rat's ass. It doesn't matter. You've just got to own it and be who you are. When you do that, people just will be drawn to you. It's very important that you as the artist know your boundaries and stick to them. And when you do that and turn it into a part of your lifestyle and a part of your personality versus I must market. There's a Facebook post at this time. That's robotic and it doesn't work for an artist. It might work for a company. I understand why it could work for a company. They can automate things like this. I don't turn these things on and off, and I don't make up stories to post anywhere at any time. It has to be the right time in the right place, and something has to happen to cause me to post. And that's just my rule. I also have established other rules when it comes to the online and offline world of marketing and getting out there. I'm not negative. I'm not critical. I'm that person that you see that is happy, upbeat, and joyful to be wherever I am. And let me tell you, wherever I am, that is where I am. There's a book called Where You Go, There You Are, and I highly recommend this book. It's older, but it talks about really living in the moment, and that sometimes living in the moment isn't what we really think it is. It was incredibly helpful to me to really read that book and adopt some of its practices to understand that where I am is where I am. And I don't want to be anywhere else. I'm not sitting here right now thinking I'd rather be sitting on the couch. I'm sitting here grateful and joyful to be able to do something like this, flex my different creative muscles and techniques, and I am happy as hell to be putting the information out there. It is all that is on my mind. In fact, through all of these videos, the only thing that has interrupted my flow at all is that sometimes my dog Remy comes running through here, and I know those sounds are going to be on the video, and it bugs me. But otherwise, nothing has detracted from the mission. And that's pretty much the case on Where You Go, There You Are, and be there. And when you are, you'd be surprised at how much the interactions change. Don't be afraid of social media because it seems salesy or marketing. This is your venue to take care of the relationships of the people you met in the real world. That's one of the first things when I feel a real connection with somebody. Find me on Facebook or I'm on Instagram because I want to continue that relationship. We used to live in a world that if you ran into somebody and you had a really good, conversation with them, and then you were gone, you might not ever see them again. Now, it's incredibly easy to establish an acquaintance or a relationship or a friendship from a moment like that. Share the social media sites. Be willing to let it invade a little bit upon your world, because I guarantee you it will accent your world and it will help define who you are. This is the last and most important part about the idea of marketing. It's really about sharing, we've covered that, but it's also about you and your artwork being accessible. We've talked about this a number of times, and anything that you can do within your boundaries that makes you more accessible to viewers, followers, audiences, that's just to your benefit. It's what people are looking for. They want to peek into our brains. They want an idea of what makes us tick. They want to see what we're trying. And in some cases, they want to live vicariously through us. In other cases, they just want to be our cheerleaders. You would be amazed at how powerful a good set of cheerleaders can be for you. I mean, this is what marketing is. It's sharing of yourself and being accessible. And as artists, we need to stop thinking about it as marketing, because we're not some product with a logo. We're something very different than that. which means we have to approach marketing very differently. And we have to always be true to ourselves, and we have to always be original in our voice and our content. No cookie cutter formula is going to work perfectly for any artist I know. In fact, we can take some of the cookie cutter notions, and you can Google that and find 10,000 of them, and find a few things that might work for us, but to adopt it full on would be a problem. Imagine this. You're told that you have to post at a specific set certain time, but that's typically your time to create. Which one wins? Because I'm telling you, it better be the art every day of the week. And that's the same with events that we plan on going to, or fairs, or shows, or pop-up events. All of those things also have to fit in with our world. Again, if your normal creating time is on a Friday night because that's your groove, don't give that up. Art comes first. But do consider that maybe you have to hit a couple of different interest groups or hobbies or events during the week, and that will help to juggle things nicely. In other words, you need to know where each of the balls go that you're juggling. And marketing should be the one that you're willing to drop. And I'm not saying drop it forever. I'm saying in some cases, it's just not the right time and place to be worried about it. And that in itself is kind of freeing. All these have-tos are very limiting. And for an artist to work with limits kind of seems like it defeats the purpose, doesn't it? So you have to find out what way is right for you, and you have to go do it. And you have to practice at it to get better at it so that you enjoy it and see the value in it. When we hear the word marketing, all we hear is sales. Get me sales. That's not what any artist I know actually wants to accomplish. Most artists that I know want to spread their beauty into the world, their ideas into the world. They want to foster something kind of different. And marketing doesn't accomplish that. But sharing of yourself and being accessible will accomplish it every single day of the week, especially when you do it on your terms. This is another occasion you have the power because you are the glorious artist. So figure out what works for you and figure out which things work for you, whether they're online or offline, and then you know what? Go do it. Just go do it. You'll figure it out just in the doing of it what works for you. No list of to-dos will be just right for you. You have to create your list of to-dos on this, and you have to refine your technique and your process. In other words, treat this part of your business just like you would a piece of artwork. I don't see how you can go wrong there.